This is Carrie Johnson with the Iowa Department of Management, and I have recorded a set of webinars to help a county auditor or their staff as they're working in the Department of Management's valuation system to submit valuations for the January 1st deadline. The first portion or first part of this webinar series is going to be a basic introduction to kind of familiarize you as a user with the online system and what you find where. So as far as in general, some application reminders for the 2021 valuations, you're going to use the same DOM web-based application as the last couple of years. Your budget AFR amendment access now is in the same portal as valuations. So there's a little bit of a slightly different look in that if you are in a county auditor role, you're going to see budgets and AFRs and amendment information when you log into the system. The same type of information is uploaded using the same .dat file from your local software as in previous years. And the application does accept both 5 and 6-digit state tax ID numbers. With the system itself, the county auditors have authority to access the system. An enterprise A&A account ID is a method of access. If someone needs to access the system and does not have the account ID, enterprise A&A account ID, just call me or send me an email and I will send you the instructions on how to obtain an account and then get access. And again, county auditors have access, but they can't ask DOM to give other county staff members authority to access the system, and that can be done. We do highly recommend using the latest version of Google Chrome as the web browser to operate the application. We do not recommend using Internet Explorer or any outdated versions of any other browsers. The instructions themselves are found under your help menu, and when the system is opened up for users, I also usually send those out as a PDF version, and they look a lot like this page here. To actually enter the system, you would go to the Department of Management's County Resource page, and that's found at dom.iowa.gov/counties. And you would go down sort of in the middle of the page and find the Submit Valuation Budget and AFR option. Again, you need to use an Enterprise A&A account ID to access the system. And we'll take a few moments and do an overview of what you see when you log in. So the top portion of the left-hand navigation is where all or the most of the valuation information is located, right? All the different features related to valuation. And underneath that is where you'd see budget and AFR information, but you'd see valuation more towards the top. Under administration, you'd have things such as levy authorities, tax districts, TIF areas, TIF area revenue, and county totals. Under program data, you'd have where you file and unfile data. Tools include the rollback worksheet and errors checks, and import DAT file is where you actually import the DAT file that comes from your software system. So again, these are the areas that you're going to be working in as you go through the online system. Levy authorities, tax districts, etc. We're going to go into those in a little bit more detail. You do need potentially to refresh your session as you're working in the system. The system will time out after a certain amount of time that's logged in. So if you're logged in for an hour, it's going to time out on you. It does give you a warning, and it'll look a lot like this below. Before actually kicking you out of the system. So when you see this warning show up, be sure to click Renew to avoid being logged out and losing any changes. So just sort of bear in mind that after an hour, you're going to see this message pop up, click the Renew, and it'll refresh your session. So as I mentioned, over on the left-hand side, you see an option called Levy Authorities, and this is just going to list for you the levy authorities that are within your county. It'll give the levy authority code, the state code that's used in our system. It'll provide the name, of course, of the levy authority, the suffix, so the remainder of the levy authority code number, if it's TIF or not TIF, any special notification or numbering with that levy authority. And there's basically two actions that you as a county auditor can do with the levy authority. You can view it, and you can see the dollars as far as valuation goes. So if you were going to view a levy authority, and you can view this year and prior years levy authorities, it will show you the following information. And it's just basically information regarding that levy authority. What type of levy authority is it? What's the name? And then for the year that you're requesting information on, it'll also show you its tax rate. So obviously, if we're talking about 2021 values for fiscal 23 budgets, there's going to be zeros for the tax rates listed. You can also, with the levy authority, check on that dollar sign, and that's going to show you the taxable valuation total for that levy authority, and also the assigned tax districts for that levy authority. So just a quick way to view some different information. The important thing to keep in mind with levy authorities is that you cannot make changes as a county auditor to those levy authorities. So if you have a levy authority that needs to be deleted, or you have someone new, or you need to change the name, there's a incorrect spelling or what have you with the levy authority, you need to contact Department of Management for those changes. So the next item on the left-hand navigation is your tax districts. And this just shows you all the tax districts for your county. It shows the name, the number, property type, TIF, yes or no, and then there's various actions you can take with the tax district. If you need to pull up a particular tax district, you can use these boxes here to search by number, by name, etc. The actions you can take with a tax district: you can edit that tax district, make certain changes, you can manage its associations, or you can delete it. And we'll go into greater detail with managing tax districts in a later webinar. TIF Areas is next on the left-hand navigation. Again, it's going to show you all the existing TIF areas that you have. You can add TIF areas and consolidate TIF areas. That's a couple of the options of things you can do with those areas that we'll discuss later. You can also do actions such as edit, manage associations, and delete. TIF Area Revenue is the next item on the left-hand navigation. So this is going to show all of the different tax increment districts, TIF tax increment districts within your county, and it will show the estimated net consolidated rate. This is a particularly important area that needs to be potentially addressed because it's used to calculate estimated TIF area revenue. So if you have any new tax districts that you added that were TIF increment districts, you'll have to come to this area and add in an estimated net rate for those. County totals, this is just simply a report that's available to you as a county auditor. You can do all counties or only your county. And it's just going to list for you the non-increment totals by class, 100% taxable. The TIF totals, again, by class, 100% taxable, and then adding them together. You can open it, you can print these reports, and you can download them. The next item you find on the left-hand navigation is filing and unfiling data. When you're completed working in the system, you need to file that data to make it available to the public. So when you're ready, it's going to be a decision that you make, and you'll go to file unfiled data, and you do need to file it to make it public. Similarly, if you need to go back into the system and work on it, your data had been public, but you need to make a correction, you would unfile it, make your changes, and then file again to make it public again. The rollback worksheet is just going to pull the 100% value from the database, compare it with a worksheet produced value to find differences. This rollback worksheet can be opened, it can be printed, and it can be downloaded. Error check is next on the left-hand navigation. That's where you're going to go to run errors checks. The system will check for a variety of different errors, mostly with associations and things of that nature. Again, this error check does not check to make sure that your numbers are correct. That is not something that the system can independently do, but it does check for common errors related to associations or missing data. When you are ready to import the file from your local software system, you would select Import DAT File on the left-hand navigation, and you would select Upload. And we're going to go over what that process looks like in a minute. Under Reports, there are a variety of different reports within the system. As I mentioned before, you have an opportunity to view budget and amendment and annual financial report information. As you're logged into the system, valuation reports would be the last option on the system. And there's a variety of different reports that you'll want to review, and we'll point those out a little bit later. But this is what the report list looks like. And for those reports, you can download them as a CSV file and open them in Excel, or you can view them as a PDF. And when you look at the different reports, again, taxable valuation in this example by individual levy authority, you can view reports by year. So prior years can be pulled, by different levy authority types and by different particular levy authorities. When you generate a report, you'll see a green box that shows, and it'll say download. So you select that download option to actually download the report to your desktop. Help is an option as well too, of course. Under the help documents, you'll find the valuation instructions that we mentioned earlier, and you can download those. Before uploading data to Department of Management, you're going to need to take care of several items. Levy authority changes, TIF debt reconciliation needs to be completed, adding and deleting taxing districts, and creating and deleting TIF areas. So with levy authority changes, as I mentioned earlier, you can view your levy authorities, but only DOM can add new levy authorities or make changes to existing levy authorities, such as deletions or name changes. Levy authority changes must be done before you import data into the system. In the valuation instructions, you see a list of the levy authority types, just as an example, and how we at DOM number those levy authorities. For instance, hospitals are the county number, the letter L, and then the 3-digit number behind it. The different levy authorities are listed here. Cities have a G in the third digit. Community colleges have an F. You can take a look at these at your own convenience. But those are the levy authorities and what they look like on our system. There may be a variety of reasons why these levy authorities need to be changed. You may have split townships. That is a situation where townships need to be, a township, for instance, would need to be split because they are entering into fire contracts with more than one fire agency. So half the township is served by one city's fire department, and the other half of the township is served by the other city's fire department, and they want to levy different levy rates, for example. So you would need to split those that township into 2 different fire districts. If you have questions about that process, please contact me. You may also have new levy authorities. That's a little bit less likely to happen, but it can be the case where you would have new levy authorities. You may have name changes. This is particularly true with school districts, and there may be deletions. Again, a school district situation where school districts are consolidated. And those changes, of course, happen with Department of Management. Some of them are initiated from the state level, for instance, all those school district changes, and some may be initiated locally, like split townships or any new levy authorities. A new levy authority does need to be associated with the correct taxing district. So if someone created a new, say, lighting district within your county, we would create that lighting authority district, and then we'd have to associate it with the correct taxing authorities, taxing districts where it's going to be taxing against. So we talked about levy authority changes. Another thing that needs to be wrapped up before you submit your values is TIF debt certification. The certification of TIF debt is due to the county auditor by December 1. And so your TIF authorities in your county are going to need to complete those TIF debt certifications and submit them to the county. The county then would complete a TIF reconciliation form and send back to the TIF authorities as soon as possible after December 1. And this is a method of communication between the TIF authority and the county auditor to make sure that in the coming year in particular, you are creating the necessary value or using the necessary value to generate the TIF revenue that is needed by the TIF authority, the TIF revenue that's needed to service their outstanding TIF debt. So this is a communication tool, but it does drive the value that's associated with those increment and base districts. The TIF reconciliation forms and the certification forms, if you'd need those, are found on the Department of Management's website at dom.iowa.gov/counties, and you would select TIF reconciliation forms under the forms option. And this is what it looks like. It is an Excel spreadsheet that you can download to your system. So property values are due to Department of Management and to all levy authorities by January 1. Typically, what folks do is direct their levy authorities to the Department of Management website and let them know that the values are available there once they're filed. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me either by phone or by email. Thank you.